Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like making too many of these kinds of videos, especially within a short amount of time. However, at this very moment, I don't really have any other choice because, yeah, my free-to-play account has been grinding the Phantom Swords for so long, and I'm still so far away. Like, okay, I'm not that far away, but you get the idea. I still need so many more swords. But hey, at least the title is not clickbait. I do actually have a setting which is actually going to be giving you a 1.5x attack speed boost. So if you are hyped for that, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe with notifications on, because it really helps out the channel a bunch. And apart from that though, I'm not gonna waste your guys' time. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into this. Alright, so first things first, how long is this setting going to take to set up? Well, it's actually going to be taking 5 seconds. So what you want to do is you want to head on over to the inventory, head on over to the settings, and you see this over here, Fighters Attack Mode. Well, yeah, at default, it is probably going to be at around maybe 1 or 2. Well, yeah, you want to change that bad boy immediately to number 3. Now, let me show you guys why, okay? So if I just quickly head on over to, for example, I don't know, let's head on over to the restaurant raid, right? And let's just jump into one. As you guys can see, when I put on my, fast auto clicker and my fighters, you can go ahead if you really want to and time how long it takes to do, let's say, 10 waves. Now I'm gonna save you guys time. It does take me approximately around like 12 seconds, 13 seconds, depending on how long you take to, like, I guess, be precise. You know, human reaction time. Well, yeah, 10 waves on setting number 1 is around 12 seconds. Whilst when you go ahead and put on this bad boy to number 3, you are going to notice that things significantly speed up. Like, quite literally, if I put on back to number 1, right? You can even see over here by how many times the text comes up, you know? When the third one pops up, the first one basically immediately disappears. However, when I go ahead and put this onto 3, you are going to see that it is actually going to be staying relatively on. Like, we're going into the 4th one appearing, and the first one isn't always immediately disappearing, you know? So clearly, there is definitely a significant speed boost, and in this case, when I did go ahead and time it, it took me around 8 seconds to do 10 waves. So yeah, what does that mean? It means it gives you a 1.5x attack speed boost. It is not clickbait. However, just a quick warning though. I do want to mention that this probably is due to the fact that I have maxed out stands and as well maxed out Colossal Titans, because I have a feeling that if you were to do this normally, right, like let's say you have decent Titans and you don't have stands, I don't think the attack speed boost will be as high, especially since, you know, these Supreme stands have a 0.2 second attack speed. But hey, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Feel free to let me know down in the comments. But what I can promise you is that if you get at least stands and Titans and whatnot, yeah, you are going to be getting a 1.5x speed boost, and that means you can run through leaf raids and restaurant raids and whatnot in the matter of, like, probably, if it normally takes you 30 minutes, you can probably do it in now, not 15, probably like 20. Listen, you're saving yourself time regardless, okay? Go to the settings, turn this to 3, you are not going to regret it. But anyways, I guess that's all you really came for the video. However, just so then, you know, it comes to 8 minutes and, you know, I can actually get paid. Let's talk about some other small tips and tricks that I did not mention in the first video. So for tip, I guess, number 1 of the video, this one's actually really simple, and that is going to be heading on over to the index, auto delete, and I'm just going to quickly say, always make sure that you are getting the Supreme version of every single accessory. It doesn't matter if you have a better version of it or if you think you don't need it. For example, the 4-star hat. This gives like a 2.75x coin boost at Supreme, and I know a lot of you guys don't really care about coins that much. However, trust me, you are going to be needing it, because when it comes to, for example, maxing out the dungeon upgrades, this gets mad expensive, and there's nothing that's like game passes or like tips and tricks that can really help apart from getting all of the money accessories and even the other accessories. For example, Armless Cloak. This one is mainly for energy, and obviously there are definitely much better cloaks that give energy. However, what's good about the Armless Cloak is that if I remember correctly, it does actually give like a 10% EXP boost, which when you're trying to grind out, you know, max level, really helpful. And yeah, the story can basically be repeated for basically every single other accessory. Make sure you're getting Phantom, Supreme version. I don't really care what version you get as long as it's a good one, because 99% of them have their own unique functions. For example, the Armless Cloak, mainly for energy, however it does have an EXP boost. Plus as well, for all you know, maybe in the near future, Joseph does actually go ahead and add some kind of like index reward, maybe for example an EXP boost, or I don't know, attack speed boost. You know, it works similarly to this, you know, where like if you get a certain amount discovered, it will give you a bonus. So just in case, if you still think that my first part of this explanation didn't really make sense, get it for that version, because for all you know, that update might come in the near future. But anyways, that's really all I have to say for tip number 1. Let's move on to tip number 2. So, for tip number 2, I am actually going to be taking you guys on over to my main account. Now, hold on. I know a lot of you guys are going to be saying, wait, SMG, you're wasting a restaurant raid key. Forget about it, okay? A lot of you guys ask me, SMG, I am stuck in, let's say, I don't know, World 10, World 11, World 6 or something, and you ask me, how do I progress? Because no matter what I do, I can't progress any further. And well, the simple answer to that question is, head on back to the previous worlds, max out everything. Now, yes, I know that sounds probably like the most useless information that you can give. However, I'm going to be honest, right? The amount of people that like leave old stuff and like don't bother maxing them out, it is ridiculous. Like, take a look over here. This is my free-to-play account, you know, 0 Robux spent. I don't really have that many game passes, you know, I kind of have like all the main good ones, but apart from that, you know, I don't really have all of the extra champion ones or double weapon. So yeah, you guys can't say that I'm like some maxed out pay-to-win guy. And as you guys can see, because I went back into every single world, you know, right now, my main world is World 13. This is the highest I can get to. And yeah, I did go ahead and max out everything from the previous worlds. As you guys can see, I can one-shot basically every single enemy in this world. And keep in mind, by the way, I don't even have that good of damage jewelry. It's not even equipped right now, for example. In fact, here, have a look at this, right? I'm maxing out the A rank, S rank. I am not exactly one-shotting him, but as I said before, if I were to go ahead and equip my damage setup, then yeah, they immediately get one shot. So yeah, to all the people that are really struggling in order to get, you know, OP in this game, whether you're stuck in a world or maybe you don't have that much time to grind, make sure you head on back. I don't care if it's a really difficult thing or a really easy thing. For example, Leaf Village, right? If you don't have the Supreme of the Power Eyes, get it. Or at least get the Phantom, you know, because some people, they get like mythicals only. No, you want at the very minimum phantoms, okay? You should not see any red colors in your equipped slots at all. Then obviously if you're able to get a Supreme, I mean that's an extra, you know, massive W. But yeah, as long as you can get phantoms in absolutely everything, you should be relatively fine. And then if you are struggling to get that very last push, then go ahead and get yourself the Supremes. Oh yeah, by the way, I just want to make it clear, you don't have to go ahead and immediately max out the swords, okay? Because trust me, you would not end up progressing at all for like 2 weeks, okay? I've been getting so many DMs saying, SMG, what on earth are you doing? You've been at the same amount of energy for like 2 weeks now. Are you okay? I know, man, okay? I know. To all the people that have noticed that, the sword grind is just taking so long. Listen, guys, if I were you, get yourself maybe 3-starred mythicals, because at least that is realistic to get in a short amount of time. Then if I were you, maybe grind up like 20k tokens every so often, maybe every few days, and then work on it slowly, because if you try to do it all at once before you continue progressing at all, you are going to be like me, losing your mind, crying yourself to sleep every single night. In fact, I don't even want to see this account anymore until I have, you know, 3-starred double phantom sword. So yeah, he's back in the restaurant trade. I'm heading back on over to the main account. But anyways, last tip that I'm going to be telling you guys about is actually going to be very simple for early game players and as well very simple for end game players. Now, what is this tip about? Well, in case the new players didn't already know, every single world has a secret enemy location, which then once you go ahead and take them out, and in fact you actually have to go ahead and obviously claim the quest. In fact, here it is. Here is the secret enemy of I believe, yeah, World 2 with Mill Island. All you have to do, claim it, and then when you go ahead and complete it, you'll get this obelisk part, which then you can go ahead, head on over to wherever it is on the map, and then you can go ahead and activate it, and it's going to be giving you a small energy, damage, and EXP percent multiplier. So yeah, for early game players, make sure you go ahead and go through every single world that you've unlocked and try and get as many of these obelisks activated as much as possible, because literally it's a free energy multiplier, free damage multiplier. It's going to be really good. And then for the end game players, just in case if some of you did not already know, but there is actually one world which has a third secret quest, and that is going to be the Ghoul City. So heading on over here, once you go ahead and spawn on in, all you have to do is you need to walk up to where the SS, you know, the obelisk quest is, right? And then walk behind it, and you'll actually find a third quest over here, you know, the CCG quest. Now keep in mind, this is the only world, to my knowledge, that does have a secret third quest. So yeah, if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me down in the comments, but this should be the only world. Now, as you guys can see, it's nothing crazy, like, you know, you're not going to be getting like 5 times energy or 10 times damage. However, it is, I guess, helpful, you know, 5% coins, 5% EXP, a bunch of potions, bunch of lunch boxes, 5% of damage and energy, and hey, if you're able to complete the very last quest, which is 50,000 stars, and as well 50 of the rank SS of this world, you'll be able to get 10% energy, 10% damage, 10% coins, and 5 EXP potions. But yeah, apart from that though, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps up this mini video. Once again, hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'm going to continue sacrificing my lifespan for Phantom Swords. Yeah, wish me luck, send your prayers down in the comments. I'll catch you all in the next free-to-play episode, which I really do hope I can start recording tomorrow. I really do. We'll find out. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace!